So if I'm going to access my Outlook application, I can do it in two different ways. Probably the most common way that people will access it is through office.com, which is just the online version of Outlook. So when you've logged in to office.com using your email address and your password, you'll come to this main screen. This is going to then show me all the different applications I have available to use. I can also go up here to the top left to this grid, and this shows me the same things. So to access my Outlook, I can click on it here. That then opens up the Outlook application, and that is my quickest way to access my email through the online application. So when I'm in the standard mail view, so here you see on the bottom left, I've got mail, I've got calendar, people, and then to do. So these are the four different things I can access through Outlook Online. The default screen that it goes to is your mailbox, which this is, most people have used a standard email system, so you're aware of what this looks like, where your newest messages are at the top, and you've got your inbox, you've got drafts, which are emails that you've maybe been working on but you haven't sent yet. You've got sent items, so if you're needing to go back and look up an email that you had previously sent someone, and then deleted items, and then I'll point out very important junk email. A lot of people think junk email you don't need to look at, but because of the security settings in our email, you do want to regularly check your junk mailbox, because emails, in particular emails from people outside of Life Unlimited, can sometimes go to your junk email. So you want to check those and make sure that you don't have something like that that's been sent through. Here right now, my junk mailbox is empty, but if I had a piece of mail in here that was not junk, I would just want to right click on it and move it to my inbox. And after I do that, the system itself is supposed to eventually learn which is a safe email from someone, and you can also mark it as safe as well. So now let's take a look at the calendar view. So I click on this calendar icon here on the bottom left. That opens up my calendar. And so here you see I've got some recurring appointments. This is actually just a reminder for myself at 9 a.m. every Monday to review timesheets in ProLiant. Here you see I've got MANT recertification training, and then you can have all day reminders. So this is reminding me that I'm supposed to be off work on Monday the 16th. The 17th is Cassie's birthday. You can insert these things into your calendar. If I want to have an all-day event, what I can do is click on here and create an event. So let's say that I'm also off on Wednesday. I would just put that in there and then make sure that it's toggled here to all day. If it's not all day, then it's going to ask me to select a time, but I want this to be an all day thing. I can invite other people. If I want this to also to show on their calendar, I can select a room or location, add a description. Let's say I save that and I put that on there, and now it's on my calendar. And then I realize, oh wait, I'm actually not off that day. All I need to do is right click on it and I can delete that. It will confirm that I want to delete it, and it deletes. Let's say that Tuesday, I've got a meeting that's now scheduled for 10 a.m. that I need to put on my calendar. Here you see the times. So I just go to Tuesday at 10 o'clock. I click on that box right there, add my event. So meeting with Julie. This is not an all-day event, so I'm going to say it's going to go 10 to 11:30. And if I need to reserve a room or a location, so let's just say this is going to be at North Kansas City, the lower level meeting room A. I enter that into there. I can add a description. If Julie wants me to have her add this to her calendar, I can then start inputting the person's name, and it'll fill it out here and show me my options. Click on that. And so now I've got this meeting maker, and hit send. And that will then send her a meeting maker that shows that we've got this appointment on Tuesday the 17th from 10 to 11:30. But I'm not going to send this one because it's not a real appointment, so I'll hit discard, but otherwise you would hit send. If you have something that's recurring, so for example, this is review timesheets, and see that little cycle symbol, that tells me that it's recurring. So let's say every Friday I need to do something, so it is check Therap inbox. And this is just a reminder for myself here. I'm going to click on more options, And when I get the more options screen, then I'm going to want to, first of all, there's a couple different things I can do that I'll show you, but one of them is that I can do here repeat, which is set as never. It can be every day, every week, every month, every year, or I can make it a custom setting. But that's where you then create where it's going to repeat itself on your calendar, never ending. So if I do every week, it's going to tell me now repeat every week on Friday, and it's going to automatically set this out to June 12th, 2020. That's just as far as it goes on the calendar settings. Hit save, and now that's going to repeat it every Friday. And then I also can categorize this. So categories are things that color code it. You can create these yourself. These are just categories I've created. If you want to manage categories or create color-coded categories, you just go to Manage Categories. It shows you all the ones you currently have. You can edit them or you can create a new category, but that's totally up to you if you want those things to be color-coded on your calendar. Once I save this, it's going to then populate on my calendar, and then you'll see going forward that it's going to have that every single Friday on and on, reminding me to do that task. So that's one way you can manage some tasks, is if you put them on your calendar. That's in particular if you've got things that are tied to a specific time. For example, timesheets in ProLiant has to be done prior to 10. So that's why it's on my calendar versus using the to-do application that I'll show you here in just a minute. So the next feature we'll look at is going to be people, or this is also sometimes just called your contacts. If I click on this people icon, it's going to take me to this screen that is going to list out my contacts. And right now it's listing them by first name alphabetical order. So these are contacts that I have created that I have added into the system. So for example, here I see I've got Adam Jason, who's our account executive for Relias Learning. I've input this information with his email, his work phone, their company's webpage, his job title. You can add your own notes here. So this is sometimes good if, let's say, you've got a parent guardian that you work with that you want to make sure you've got their information, and you also want to log any conversations you've had with them, phone calls, etc. You can put some of those notes in here, and that keeps it in there. If you need to edit information on a contact, you click on this Edit Contact. But let's say that you don't have any contacts right now and you're wanting to start a new one. You just go up here to New Contact, click on that. It's going to open up this screen. You can add a photo if you have a photo you want to add. First name, last name, the person's contact information, their company, and any notes. And then you're going to click Create to create that new contact that's going to now populate in here. This is helpful if you're on the go and you need to access information, contact information, etc., or if there's just people that you contact at some regularity that you want to have in your book of contacts. This is especially good for people that are outside of our organization. So inside of our organization, you can look up in an address book people's information, but this you see is populated by people that are outside of Life Unlimited. So that's a quick overview of the contacts or people section. The final section or tab that you have in Outlook Online is going to be this to-do icon. So if you click on the to-do icon, it's going to open up your to-do list. So here you see I just created this task to show you I've got a check email task that is recurring. So it's due every weekday. So here you see I had it due today. I completed it, which is why it's strike through and it's got the blue check. And then I've got it due tomorrow to check my email tomorrow. It'll just continue to add that task every weekday going forward. So if I want to create a task like this, so here I'm going to do add task. So let's add a task of, let's say I need to check my physical mailbox. So my actual mailbox that's upstairs in the main waiting area. So I hit return to create the task. If I then right click on it, it's going to give me several different options here. I can mark it as completed, mark it as important, which flags it. I can indicate due today, due tomorrow. I can do a lot of different things, but let's say that I want to modify this. I left click on it, and then here is where I can do add a due date, add a reminder. So let's say I want it to remind me later today, or I want it to repeat Here, like it's kind of similar to the calendar thing, I can choose how often I want this to repeat. So let's say I want to check my mailbox every weekday, I would hit weekdays. Or let's say that I want to do it every week, then I just hit weekly and it automatically does Wednesday because that's today. So now it's going to do it. When I mark it complete and have done it, it's going to show that one's completed, and it creates next Wednesday's check my physical mailbox for the 18th. So it just repopulates these when they're recurring every single time. So that's a very simple task system. If you have reports or things that you do on a monthly basis, or once a week or every 2 weeks, or let's say it's due the 15th of every month, then you want to put those kinds of things in here, and it helps you be able to make sure you're getting those things done. Just because it's sometimes in the whirlwind and craziness of things, we forget about those ongoing tasks and things that we do. So tasks is a very handy feature to be able to help you with managing those types of things. So if you were using the standard Outlook application, which you see I've got here on my toolbar and I've opened up, it looks a little bit different than what the online feature looks like. It has all of the same and additional functionality. I prefer to use the full application than using the Outlook online. It's got a lot of the same features. Here you see my mailbox, my calendar, my contacts or people, and my tasks or to do. Those things are all located in the same place. But a couple things that I'll note, if you're going to make any changes to the settings in here, you're going to do File, Options, and now that opens up this browser here that tells you you're doing mail settings, calendar settings, groups, people, tasks, anything like that. You can customize the ribbon or the quick access toolbar. That's what's up here that you see. If you want certain things to be located up there, you can modify that. You also can just do some cosmetic things, for example, too. You can change the background. Here you see I've got the circuit is the setting that I have. And then I'm using the office theme black. That means that it's a darker background and it's easier for me to read with my vision. But let's say that you're doing the colorful option. So then you click on that. Now it's going to show you a brighter view of what that looks like. I just prefer to have the darker view, but you can also have it completely black. This is typically the one that I prefer, but you can do a lot of different settings on what is easier for you to be able to view. Dark gray, of course, is another option, but that's what this looks like. And again, the features are very, very similar. Here is what the calendar looks like. Now I'll show you here on this calendar. I've actually got multiple calendars that are on top of each other. So you see that this is my calendar right here. My work calendar that's got information on it, and that's overlapped with my own Google Calendar. So I have it synced with my personal Google Calendar because I don't want to forget on Saturday the 21st at noon, I am seeing Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker in theaters soon, if not already now when you're seeing this. And so I don't want to forget about that, and I don't want to overlap work tasks with those things. So I overlapped these calendars. If I don't want them to overlap like that, I can hit this arrow button and that expands it out and moves my personal calendar now separated. But if I want to have them merged together, I just hit these arrows here. So here I've got the Life Unlimited training calendar. This shows all of our trainings that we have going on. And here you see I've got it color coded where the day session is orange, evening session is this dark gray. But that way I can look at these things side to side and be able to know what's going on in my calendar during the week. So that's some of the nice functionality of the calendar view here. And then for my people or contacts, again, very similar to what you saw in the outline on the Outlook online version. I can create a new contact, a new group, a new contact group. You've got all of that same functionality. And then with tasks, same thing. So here you see it's showing those tasks that I created, and those are populated in here as well. So very, very similar, but just a slightly different view to it and more functionality. With this, I like this too because you can make a fancier email signature. So here you see my email signature that's created. I have here my contact information, but then I've also added these hyperlinks that go to our training calendar and that go to the Relias Learning login page. I put those on my email signature because those are the two most common things that people ask me. Hey, how do I get to the training calendar, or how do I log into Relias? So I just put those in there so people can see those anytime that I'm replying or sending them an Outlook message.